I'm with the Chief Minister, and we're talking from your point of view about the Freedom of Information Act that's coming in. Although, of course, you're going to tell us that it's already in a sense, but it's not with the backing of the law. Now it's officially going to come in, but in dribs and drabs.
Yeah, you're right from the starting point that we have a code of access to information which has been in place now for about 20 years. But this is a code, it's not something which is actually enshrined in law. There have been very few problems with it, very few occasions when information has not been made available. So the code of practice has actually worked extremely well. What I promised, though, when I took over as Chief Minister, one of the first promises I made was that we would enshrine a Freedom of Information Act in law so that the code becomes actual law which can't be changed. It's taken a long time, you rightly say, to draft this legislation, to consult on it, to obviously go through the normal process. But we have now got to the point where a appointed day, the 1st of February next year, has now been agreed and announced, and it will come in on the 1st of February as law, not just as a code.
And being binding, it has the effect that people have to appeal if they don't like the decisions, therefore it's going to cost money, right?
Well,
as
you know, that has been a concern that I've had, because it costs the UK government a huge amount of money to bring in. The figures we've had from Jersey range from 1 to 3 million, but not quite sure what that figure is. I don't want to, in the present financial circumstances in the Isle of Man, to suddenly land the Isle of Man with a bill of several £1 million for this.
So what are you going to do?
We are bringing it in on a phased basis. The first phase will be access to information for the Cabinet Office, which is clearly the main area, and for DEFA. These are the two areas to begin with. And then we'll phase it in after that.
But any cost ideas?
We've no idea what the cost is, but at the moment we're not planning to bring in extra staff for it, but it's to give us a chance to train up staff, to make them familiar with the new legislation, so we don't need to employ a lot of people to do this. So there probably will be some cost, but it'll be an absolute minimum.
You're going to get this tested, and that's what seems to happen normally.
Sure
people
will, yes.
have a flurry of, and it's quite strange things about how much does the Christmas lights cost to run or something like this. Yes. Strange things that maybe you won't be ready for, but then it will settle down, do you think?
I think so. We don't get a huge number of inquiries anyway under the current Code of Access. So I'm not expecting a huge increase, but there probably will be a number of questions posed to us, really just to test the system more than anything else initially. So we will probably see a flurry of activity for the first few months, but then I expect it to level down more or less to the level that we've enjoyed now for the last 20 years.
Of course, this in fact won't happen in full during this term of the House of Keys. It'll fall on the next lot too. Well, could it be altered? I mean, could they decide to change that?
No, the law is passed now. It's had royal assent. We are now have appointed set the appointed day order for the Act to come in. It is phased. The bill will be in well before the end of this particular House. The first phase comes in on the 1st of February. We haven't decided on the future phases, but I suspect other phases will be in before this particular administration has completed its course.
And will people be able to go back in time to find out things only from that date onwards?
From that date onwards, yes.
Is that going to be the right thing to do, you think? I mean,
well, we think so. We think it's the fair way. The other danger is if you had it completely open-ended, that anyone could seek out information going back decades possibly, and especially if that information could be requested from anywhere in the world. I know these are extreme examples, but if that were to happen, the cost of that would be colossal, and it would bring government to a grinding halt. We could not afford to do that.
You've kept it to Isle of Man residents only.
Yes.
And you're going to hope to reply in, 10 days, if you can, isn't that right?
That's the idea, yes.
So this could be a lot of work for a lot of people, but you just don't know. I mean, as you say, so
no,
it could therefore go longer than 10 days. Would you still continue to try and sort it out?
We have set ourselves certain targets within this legislation, and we absolutely believe we'll be able to deliver it. But of course, a lot will depend on the experience. Although we've had the code of practice in and it's worked very well, the law, the new act itself, when it's coming, may generate new types of inquiries which we're not used to, and we will then have to adjust our assessment of what costs and resources might be necessary to comply to that. So it's work in progress, but we're confident, I think, on the information we have at the moment, on the experience in other places, that this will be a very effective way of making government more open, more transparent, more accessible at an affordable cost. And I think that's what the majority of the people in the island want.
Are you saying government, for instance? Will it extend to the police, for instance, eventually, or is it just going to stay as government?
It will cover the whole of government.
Would that be police then?
Yes, but there will be areas, of course, which will have to remain confidential.
Okay, so that's it. This is going to be your legacy. It's taken long enough to get, as you say, sorted. Are you surprised how long this has taken?
No, not really. I mean, people forget sometimes the amount of work that has to go in for some of this legislation. There's extensive consultation, although I think in total, in spite of the noise which was being made about freedom of information to start with, I think we only had something like 34 respondees to the consultation process, which speaks volumes to it in itself. But we have to go through that process. We have to assess the responses. We then have to go through a period, in this case in particular, of training to ensure that the staff fully understand what the legislation is. Otherwise, that in itself could cause more problems further down the road. So a huge amount of work goes in behind this. This isn't just a straightforward bill.
And under this code, how many have been rejected, do you know, over the years?
As far as I know, there's somewhere like 12.
And did they have an appeal?
That's in 20 years.
Right. And did they have
Yes.
a way
Yes.
of appealing that?
Yes.
So
And I think
12 out of how many? Do you even know?
I don't know what the overall.
Hundreds? I mean,
I honestly have no idea. All I know is a number that were deemed to be an inappropriate refusal.
and they would be the same ones under this
Yes.
act? even, so-
Yes.
Okay. So we wait until, what was the date again? 1st of February 2018, fully implemented. Is that correct?
The 1st of February, yes.
2018, when everybody
Everything should be in by then. But the first phase will be 1st of February next year.